Don't you phase me out, you buswat.
There we are, yes. Please be comfortable. Enjoy the journey.
Oh right, yeah, about time. Also, I've made a bit of a mess in here. Can you just clean that up?
Hello and welcome to another episode of Pete and his Bus. For those of you that watched the last episode, number 58, you will see what happens when hits the fan, because it did so in glorious fashion. Now, of course, I had the bus repaired and it made it to its event, but there are still issues that I have to deal with, so-called the aftermath of the incident. To cut a long story short, the bus basically threw a core plug out of the side of the engine on its way to an event. I've had a conversation with a few guys like Lord Barrington himself and Ian Thompson from Redstone Fleet Care why this core plug popped out of the side of the engine. It could be several reasons. One of them is just sheer age. If you get corrosion around the edges of them, they start to leak a little bit, and from that point on, it's just a ticking time bomb. Lord Barrington also confirmed that the Cummins C-Series engine, which is what is in that bus, does have a tendency to sometimes do that. The other reason could be the fact that we had quite a harsh winter last year, and because I've had a few coolant issues in the past with broken hoses, my ratio of water to coolant has not been correct. And this is something I have to really be strict on. I have to have the correct coolant in my engine to prolong its life. And in this case, it's the pink one. So we could have had a bit of frost with water in it, expansion, core plug out. So correct coolant is going to be key. And of course, the other reason is that the engine could have suffered some sort of pressure malfunction, a buildup of something, or the water pump failing. But having driven it since already, the engine sounds absolutely lovely and sweet. And also at Redstone Fleet Care, when we fired it up, it fires up straight away, and everybody there said, oh god, yeah, you just know this engine is good. So we just don't think that's the issue. So we're going to deal with those issues this episode, and on top of all of that, I've also got the Night Timber bus going out to the Queen's Tennis Tournament, and for those of you that watched the episode before, you will know that that bus came with lots of little damage from the build-up and breakdown of the last event. So we're going to tackle those two, because these two buses need to be back out on the road soon. Here we go! So let's start with the coolant. Now, some of you will immediately say, Pete, you've had a problem with hoses being bad here and there. Why don't you take all the hoses off and replace them all with new ones? And that would be correct. But to get all the correct sizes is going to take a little bit longer, so we'll do that at a later stage. The recommended coolant for the bus is the pink one, or in this case, the red one. The bus will hold just under 18 litres of it, and it's 1 part coolant 2 parts water. So I've opted for 6 litres because 6 threes are 18. So that's all the correct coolant in my engine, and fingers crossed that should all be fine for the time being. There is no leaks. But there is actually a secondary problem. When I had my bus recovered, the truck towed it, and when you do that, you have to remove one or both the half shafts depending on how far you go, otherwise you'll damage your diff. Now when these half shafts are pulled out, which we did, and you put them back, they always leak oil. And on the way to Twickenham and on the way back, it did leak significantly. So I'm in a position now where I need to pull the half shaft out, reseal it and put it back. And of course, we need to see how much oil is left in that poor diff. Here we go. Pulling the half shaft on a Routemaster bus is actually surprisingly easy. It's just a series of bolts. And luckily, Lord Barrington himself is hovering around in the background just in case I need help. So now that the rear hub is all sealed up and lovely, it is of course time to not just top up the diff oil, we're going to completely drain it and start all over again. The diff on 2355 is okay, it's not in the best of health, there's a lot of play in it, it's just, it's of an age, so it is even more important that I change the fluid regularly to prolong its life. And that is one Routemaster diff. You can actually see my new exhaust there that was made by Ian at Fleet Care, which is great. So I've already taken the filler cap off. That took some doing. I went out and bought the correct socket so I can do that up nice and tight. We've just got to take the drain plug out, but I want to put a pan under here first. It's about to get messy. Good old EP90. Stinky. So we know we're good because the lock tab is in the correct position. I sadly don't have any new wire, so we're going to reuse the old one, make sure that's secure on there, but I will sort that out at a later date. So when they say fill till it spills, they mean it. I can't put any more in there. That is literally brilliant. Very difficult to see on camera. I'm now gonna screw this cap back in there, if I can. And that is lovely. I spend the next day or so putting all the banners on the bus for the latest event. I have the bar deep cleaned because we made a right mess at Penshurst, and I've decided I'm not gonna let the fear inside me bother me. We're just gonna go and hopefully all will be well. At this point, something very strange happens. A BMW gives me right of way. So far, so good. Journey today is about 16 miles, and I've done this trip hundreds of times in this bus. So everything should technically be fine, but of course you can't help but feel the anxiety and fear on the inside just in case something goes wrong. But luckily today is not that day. So that was the most boring journey I've ever done in my bus, which is exactly how I like them. I'm just waiting for security to give the big go ahead, and then we're going to drive in.
here, they're setting up, you can see behind me. We've just got to move a few bits around and get the bus in position, and then we are ready for a big party tomorrow. Right, so quick look around. No fluids leaking. Nice and dry.
So it seems our bus has made the journey without any issues. And now to the event. It is called the Richmond Rugby Club Summer Social, and the people that attend this event like a drink or 20. Our bus will just be serving Pims, and to give you an idea, in years gone by, we have done about 35 kegs here in one day. As you can probably guess by now, the Summer Social has been deemed a total success for all parties involved. But my concerns are more about the journey back. And even though the M25 is closed for some unknown reason and it takes me nearly 3 hours to get home, 2355 takes it all in her stride, and it looks like that wonderful reliability is back and here to stay. So I'm going to cross my fingers, cross my toes, and cross whatever else I can. Hopefully 2355 will be lovely and reliable, because I have actually booked in a lot of events for this bus. And the events industry, incidentally, comes with enough problems as it is, so it's quite nice when your own vehicle isn't one of them. Now, speaking of problems, this has directly to do with the sponsor of this episode of Pete and His Bus, and they are Jackery. And Jackery sponsored me a while ago. They gave me this beautiful little generator, and that generator has actually become a bit of a standard thing that I pack when I'm out on the road in a bus or in another vehicle. And the reason is this: there's a common known thing when you do events like we do. You're always in a strange location, it's new to you, and the biggest problem is always power. These are some of the things that have genuinely happened to me. Our plug is blue, this one is red. Oh, they don't fit. We don't have power. Yes, the power supply is ready. It's about 50 meters that way. Oh, yeah, the guy who's got the key to the box, which is your power supply, he's stuck in traffic. He's gonna be about 45 minutes. Oh, sorry guys, yeah, the power was only booked from 9 till 5, but we're setting up from 7, and we're breaking down after 5, so we're doing that in the dark. Those are some of the problems. Of course, there is also the fact that I've had a diesel generator simply stop in the middle of an event, which is a total nightmare. So as I mentioned, I now bring the Jackery wherever I go, because if you do run into a problem like the ones I've just listed, you can either switch to the Jackery, use it while you solve your problem, or if you know that the power has only been booked from a certain time to a certain time, we use the Jackery to power the bus to get all the lights on, so we can do the setup and the breakdown with the lights on. So really has become quite an important piece, and this is even more reason why I'm so excited about this new one. I am really pleased that Jackery have come on board with Pete and His Bus once again, and this time they have given me something quite special. You are looking at the big dog, the flagship generator. This is the Jackery Explorer 3000 V2 portable power station. Hello. So I know the pack looks pretty similar to the one that we were given before, but trust me, this one is significantly more powerful. It has a huge 3072 watt hour capacity. It punches out 3600 watts and a peak of 7200. This basically means you can run much more juicy stuff like a kettle or a cooker, and with the multiple ports on the front of it, you can run all of these things at the same time. The long life batteries are good for 4,000 charging cycles, and in the real world this means it's basically good for 10 years plus. It also comes with a really cool app on your smartphone. You can check the battery status from a distance, and you can also time it to start or stop charging if you need to. The whole pack charges up in a very impressive 1.8 hours, and if you buy the solar panel optional extra, you can actually charge the entire pack in 3.5 hours by the power of the sun. Now, my favorite bit, and this is from a real life testing with these packs. If you were to not use your Jackery for an entire year, it would only lose 5% of battery charge. And you don't realize how important this is, because I might do 7 events in my bus and I won't have a single problem. The pack might be sitting there for 6 months doing nothing. On the 8th event, it suddenly all goes wrong. I have to grab the Jackery, I turn it on, and I know that that battery is good to go. There you go, that's the Jackery 3000 V2, a very impressive piece of kit, especially if you consider the fact that it's about 43% lighter and smaller than any other pack on the market. Very easy to sling in the back of your bus. Now, I will be doing a little bit more actual real life testing with it. I'll show that in a future episode of Pete and His Bus. But in the meantime, if you guys are interested in a Jackery power pack, please do check out the link in the description, and I've put a discount code in there too, so you can get a little bit of money off. Now, it is time to look at a big, mean, minty green machine. The last time I picked up the Night Timber bus, she came back slightly bruised and battered. Now, my job here is not just to drop her off and pick her up. I have full responsibility for this vehicle. So I'm going to make sure she looks absolutely perfect for when she goes out next. But we do have a slight electrical issue. Who am I going to call? Upstairs in the Night Timber bus, we've got a funky LED strip that doesn't want to play ball. This thing is getting insanely hot. So Sir Sparks-a-Lot is here to have a quick sort out. The guys that run this bus are very particular, and when it goes out, it has got to be right. So apparently it was a quick fix. Let's see if it comes on. 3, 2, 1. Oh, hello. Yeah, that's looking good, mate. Here we go, fire away. Okay, we're going for it. That is pure, unadulterated LED light, and I'm pleased to say it matches the other side. Beautifully done. And now for all those scuffs and bruises. I've decided to get my buffer out and use my favorite polishing compound to see how much of this stuff will actually polish out. Usually it is more than you think. There are a few bits that are quite obviously never going to polish out, but luckily they're in quite obscure places. And for those of you who remember, when I did the platform repair on this bus, I found some paint that was the perfect color match. So we'll be able to do some touching in. I'm actually quite pleased with the amount of stuff that came out with the polishing compound. The touch-up paint is a great colour match. Of course, these scratches and cracks are not completely gone, but that's the kind of thing that we will deal with once this bus actually gets a complete repaint in the future. Overall, really pleased with the result. All I've got to do now is give her a proper clean up. She was parked next to some sort of a kitchen at the last event, and there was a lot of grease down one side, and that took some doing to get off. But the journey we're doing today in the Night Timber bus is to the Queen's Tennis Club in West Kensington. Now, driving a London bus into London sounds like a very daunting prospect, but actually it's very easy. London is completely set up for buses. There is no trees overhanging the roads. There is no road signs poking out. There are bus lanes, and yes, I'm allowed to use them. If anybody wants to have an argument with me about what I'm driving and whether it is a bus or not, I am willing to have that argument. Today's journey is a little bit different because I'm going to a location where I personally have not been, but the bus has been there a few times. Now, every time I go to a new location with a Routemaster bus, I do a check online with Google Earth and I street view the route. So I walk the route to make sure there are no funny buildings sticking out or big trees or odd corners that I won't be able to take or low bridges. But because the bus had already been to the tennis club before, I thought, well, this shouldn't be a problem. So I skipped that part. And I think that was not the best idea. So 2.5 miles to go, and the sat-nav says 21 minutes. Welcome to London. Now, the Queen's Tennis Club is in a very old school part of town, and it's actually surrounded by a housing estate. And these types of streets will all be familiar to you lot that spend time in London. They are narrow, there are parked cars everywhere, the corners are tight, and on top of all of this, my sat-nav has decided to take me to the wrong side of the club. As I approach the end of this street, I realise it's not going anywhere. I've stupidly gone down a one-way street. I'm at a dead end, so I'm gonna have to reverse and do a U-turn. Fun times. Now guys, if you're in a normal car, this is just, that problem doesn't exist. You just do a U-turn and you go the other way and you go, oh, bloody sat-nav, let's check that side. But when you're in a 30-foot long bus, one that you can't see out the back of, and you're in a narrow road with cars both sides, it is slightly different. But it turns out that an unsung hero was waiting in the wings. As I approach the roundabout that is the entrance to this street, I'm having to reverse onto it, but the traffic is coming from both sides. And I'm thinking I'm going to have to get out there and sort of tell people to stop whilst I maneuver. But suddenly this tiny little Asian man in a Tesco delivery uniform says, "Do you need a hand?" And I said, "Yes, please." He managed the traffic for me and I was able to get out. Thank you very much, unknown Asian Tesco delivery driver. So at this stage you'd think that all my problems are behind me, but no, there was the biggest and my favorite yet, and this one is called roadworks. And before you all start messaging me saying, why didn't you get the people to move that digger out the way? Well, it turns out that the people working on the side of the road were not very helpful at all. But the guys from the Queen's Tennis Club actually came out to help me and maneuver around this final corner.
I'm gonna have to go back. I have to, yeah. All in a day's work, baby.
I got there in the end. It was a very annoying and stressful journey with all the obstacles and everything. And actually the one-way street thing, that has never happened to me before. And I've been driving these buses for a long time. But funnily enough, when I started driving them way back in the day, I used to be worried about that, going down a street and not being able to get out of it, or getting stuck in front of a low bridge or a big tree branch. Nowadays, I'm not worried about that at all. I'm just worried about breaking down. But there was no breakdowns in this video, so that's a good thing. Anyway, incidentally, Night Ember have actually invited me to come back to the tournament to see the bus in full swing. That'll make a really nice video. We're going to enjoy a bit of tennis, and of course, we're going to enjoy a bit of lovely Night Ember. Other than that, I've just got to say the big thank yous. First of all, Jackery for sponsoring this video. And for sending me a power pack, the only power pack in the world that is better than the one I already have. It is fantastic. And of course, thanks to Lord Barrington, thanks to Cast London with the Summer Social, really great event. Thank you for all the people on the side of the road that helped me get to the Queen's Tennis Club. Thanks again to Night Ember, of course, for having me. And yeah, guys, big thank you to all of you. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time on Pete and his bus.
Never a dull moment, huh? Yeah, we all know why. It's 'cause you're a